Okay, we're going to call the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner O'Connell?
Here.
Commissioner Tamian?
Here.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Here.
Commissioner Dunn?
Here.
Commissioner Rushing?
Here.
Commissioner Greatop?
Here.
Chairperson Bone?
Here. Item 3, additions, deletions, and changes to the agenda.
Do we need a motion to change?
To delete item A. Do I have a motion?
I'll move that item 3A be deleted from the agenda.
Support?
Which one?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? I need a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item 5, the minutes of the previous meetings, item A and B.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve and file the minutes of the November 17, 2016 commission meetings and the commission meeting and the December 1st, 2016 standing committee meetings.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? No proclamations. Item 7 on the consent agenda, items A through E.
Chairman Bowman, I move to approve items 7A through E on the consent agenda.
Support.
Discussion on any of those? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Reports of standing committees. Craig, we'll start with you down there.
Nothing other than we're asking for the final action tonight on the 800 megahertz system. And the one thing that Tim told me tonight is with this new system, Lapeer will be able to handle a backup for us at 100%, where before, if we would have had an issue, they didn't have the same system. The 800 megahertz is what they have. So now if we have a problem with power or whatever, we can send everything to them and they can do our dispatch, not only to our police and ambulance, but they can get to all of our fire departments
That's a
too.
good point, actually. Never really thought about that.
So that makes it nice. So now we're 100% same system that they have.
Okay. Carl,
Nothing this evening.
you want to talk about the Northern Lights? Or you tell me later.
I will.
Okay. Howard?
No, not tonight.
Bill?
I'm going to take a pass tonight, Mr. Chairman.
I have none.
No, sir.
One of the things that I'm just going to talk about, I know a lot of people are in attendance this evening for some of the humane enforcement issues. We put a committee together after our last meeting to sit down and work on setting up some meetings with different representation from the groups. I know there's probably a couple different groups that are represented out here. I have spoke to a couple of you on the phone here within the last couple days. I know I've gotten some emails. Carrie, I know they have a meeting. Some of them have a meeting with the sheriff coming up here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, the sheriff's office does have a meeting that was already scheduled next week to meet with some of the groups, and at this time, we're trying to coordinate a meeting the following week with the commissioner group as well.
Yeah, we appointed 3 different commissioners. Who are the commissioners that are on that? McConnell, Heidemann, and Dunn. And really, what that then gives you the opportunity, because when in this format here, when you come and do your 3 minutes, there's not interaction amongst the commissioners. This is really to be able to sit down in kind of a workshop format and spend a lot of time on the issues, get more, just to accumulate more information and stuff on our side. So just to let you know, we are working on putting that together. And like I said, I know I've spoke to a couple of you about it. Carrie's got the email and contact information for, some of you, if there's additional people that want to get on that list, please get us your email information if you could. So with that being said, we're going to move into the citizens wishing to address the board. I've got 2 of them this evening. Courtney Protz Sanders, 102 West Guthrie, Madison Heights, on animal welfare.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good to see you again. Courtney Pratt Sanders, 102 Guthrie Avenue, Madison Heights, Michigan. I'm a resident of Oakland County, but I'm here to address you as in a professional capacity as a board trustee for Michigan's Political Action Committee for Animals. First and foremost, we are so excited to hear about the progress you guys have already made with putting together a committee, someone we can have discussions with and sit down with. That's really amazing. Thank you. On behalf of your residents and my organization, thank you. We left you with some homework for today, a couple of different things. The pamphlet that says dollars and cents, that is from the Michigan Pet Fund Alliance. They couldn't be here tonight, but wanted to give that to you. It's written for public officials, those who oversee counties and municipalities regarding animal control and the humane trend that we're seeing in animal control. We also left you with our model county regulations for animal control. We've introduced them in several counties. They're in action now in Macomb County, and they're customizable based on the county's needs, but we gave you the model regulations so you can take a look at them. There's probably a lot of overlap with your existing resolution. I believe it's 11-52 or 72, somewhere in there. So it's just some new information. You may want to combine the two or see how they can complement one another. And then the last document we left you with is a proposed resolution for St. Clair County. It's called our Transparency and Accountability Resolution. We passed it in Oakland County in 2014. And really, it's a way to be accountable to your residents in terms of what's happening at the animal shelter. It's fairly simple. The shelter already has to record their statistics, the number of animals coming in, the number of animals going out, and in what different forms they're coming and going. And since they already collect that information and report it annually to the Department of Agriculture, residents are just asking that they make that information available on the county website each month. Your starting numbers, your intake, and the outgoing, and the different reasons why. It's spelled out in the resolution. If you have any questions about it, please contact us. It's a best practice model resolution for counties, and it just kind of holds feet to the fire for transparency and accountability. Thank you for your time. I look forward to talking to you later.
Okay, thank you, Courtney. Second speaker, Carol Miller, 2340 Randolph, Port Huron Township.
Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you again. I'm Carol Miller. I've been a resident of this county for 53 years. One of the things with the group that I've been with, we've talked about different things that we want for change, and we'd like those things to be changed now. And a lot of them go along with the mission statement, so I'd like to go over some things with the mission statement that the Animal Control has had in place. The mission statement of St. Clair County Sheriff Animal Control is to implement sound policies to ensure that all state and county laws and regulations are enforced, to decrease the number of abused and unwanted companion animals, and to ensure respect for and humane treatment of pets whom have no other voice than ours. To achieve these goals, we promote activities such as advocating spaying and neutering of all pets, educating people about animal welfare, and visibly working to ensure animal welfare. Sound policies are not in effect. Best practice policies are not in effect. As an example, I asked for a policy on cleaning our local animal control, which I did receive. Policy was dated just as of October 1st, 2016. There's no review name, no authorized signature to have the policy put into practice. There's also grammatical, spelling errors. Policy is far from best practice. This is far from the best interest of your county residents. It is also a lawsuit waiting to happen. I've asked once by email and once in person to allow me to partner with the Animal Control in writing to write a best practice policy, as I've written many. I've been denied that. I don't know where the direction came to that person to say that I had to wait till the next meeting, because getting a best practice policy in place that will prevent a lawsuit should be brought to your attention immediately. Receiving medical care when the animals are ill, whether considered a stray or not, is humane treatment. Withholding treatment when an animal is obviously ill or injured is inhumane. Having a vet in place that comes in more than once a week would help alleviate these issues. How many of you have actually seen how many hours our vet has spent a week in the animal control? Not very many. Maybe this should be questioned and allow other vets to come in to volunteer a few hours here and there. Volunteer vets are so valuable, but as we heard at the last meeting, they're being turned away. Educating people about animal welfare is another part of the mission statement. Vets and vet techs can also volunteer to educate our public. What to do in an emergency and much more. When we cannot have these programs implemented now, I question that. It's in the mission statement, and it needs to be removed if we're not going to be doing it. Another issue is why can't we have time for adoption fairs? Clear the Shelter and Empty the Shelter programs have proven that cutting adoption costs and promoting adoption does work. Passing an amendment to allow a temporary time frame a few times a year to do these would help alleviate the issues at our animal control. This could be implemented now and done over Valentine's week, giving added attention to February 14th. This is just a thought to ponder. Microchipping animals that has come into the shelter is a requirement, especially if the animal has no collar or tags, and yet is claimed would also help the animal control people.
I would like to remind you that your 3 minutes is up. If
Okay.
you can make your closing remarks, it'd be appreciated.
With so many things that we could be starting now to help, please provide budget funding to allow us to make these changes to happen. Spending dollars now will save dollars in the future and will give your citizens a shelter that means that what the mission statement says. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Normally, we don't respond, but just a couple things that I guess I want to say. We've, probably Howard and I were the only two commissioners here when we worked on changing some dog ordinances at the time. And what we had 3 different workshops, Howard,
Three
probably
different workshops.
100 people in attendance, and it was I don't want to say got confusing at the time because there was all these different groups that were together. Everybody wanted something. Somebody wanted something different. This guy didn't support this guy's cause because this agency said so on and so forth. So I don't know if there's a coordinated effort if the different people in the room can get together and kind of get some clear vision, because what'll come back here is, like I said, going through that experience, Howard, it was, we did it, but when we spent all that time, we still walked away without clarity as far as what direction to move forward. So if you're able to get together and work on that, it would just be a suggestion that I would have. Yeah, okay, very cool.
We had 3 full workshops just on that issue alone. I can tell you, we've never had 3 full workshops on our on our yearly budget. So we understand how important this is to many of our constituents.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move on. No unfinished business before us this evening. Moving on to items 11A.
This time, I'd like to move to approve the revisions of the county procurement card policy, number 241. Can I have support?
Support.
Discussion on this at all? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item B, MMRMA renewal.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the renewal of our liability insurance policy with MMRMA for the period January 1st, 2017 through December 31st, 2017 in the amount of $801,815.
I would second that.
Any discussion on this? Just a couple points I'd like to make, maybe for some of the newer commissioners. I've been on the board 12 years, as you well know, and that dollar figure's always been pretty consistent as far as the insurance policy. One of the things that MMRA does, they are a pool of a lot of counties. So a lot of times you'll get a refund check. I don't know if we received anything in 16 from it, because if the loss ratios for the whole group works, then there's pretty substantial sharing sometimes.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I think we've received $567,000 roughly.
567?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to make a comment. As you know, I went back to Nebraska deer hunting in November, and I was introduced to a county commissioner from a county in Nebraska, and for whatever reason, they decided they could go without insurance. They prosecuted 5 people, sent them to jail, only to discover sometime later they were innocent. They were hit with a judgment from the courts of $27 million. This is a county with a $5 million annual budget.
Oh, boy.
I mean,
Bad decision.
bad decision. And we went through and negotiated the fee for the insurance back when Denny Kearns was here, and we've been consistent with them, and they've been great coverage.
Yeah, okay, very good. Just I wanted to give a little backdrop. Any other things there? Roll call?
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Chairperson Ball.
Yes. I'm going to take items 11.3C through T all in one swoop because they are the same wage adjustment for all of them, which is a 2% increase.
I would so move, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian,
Yes.
Chairperson Ball.
Yes.
Who made it, Howard?
Item 11U, the 2017 U.S. EPA Brownfield Assessment Grant Application.
Mr. Chair, I would move to authorize the Metropolitan Planning Commission to submit a brownfield assessment grant application in the amount of $400,000.
Support.
Discussion.
Now, that just goes into a pot. If we get that $400,000 grant, it goes in and then it's used throughout the community
We have a brownfield
fund.
a brownfield group that oversees the monies. Projects get submitted. We received $1 million grant however many years ago. It's part of, really a big piece of it was the DT cleanup in Marysville when they were tearing down the plant. That was probably $350,000 or so. There's a committee that has different people, a group that has different people assigned to it. There's assessment dollars and there's cleanup dollars. There's kind of two pots of money. I'm assuming this one's kind of a half and half carry. I didn't look at it or if it didn't spell it out on this.
This grant does not require a match.
No, they're different, you can spend certain money, like out of the 400,000,
Oh.
200,000, I think. The $1 million deal before was 500,000 could be for cleanup, 500,000 roughly, or it was 600 or 400. Don't, hang me on the math here. But what happens is then people will submit different projects that need some type of an assistance. A lot of times it might be a phase 1 or a phase 2, those. And originally, when we first received $1 million, truthfully, it was hard to spend at the time because it was when the economic downturn was in the tank. So a lot of people weren't applying. And we had like a 3-year period. And then at the end, we just got flooded with projects, when it turned
We
around.
could have used $1.5 million.
Yeah, so we did try to get 500,000 here maybe a year ago. I know we recently got denied for that, and this is just another reapplication for that 400.
Yeah, this one's actually for petroleum product assessment and countywide hazardous substance assessment, split between those two areas.
Mr. Chairman, does that grant expire?
I think they have some time frame on them, like 3-year period
3
kind of
years?
stuff,
Okay.
or whatever it was, if I'm not mistaken.
There is an expiration date on it, but I'm not sure on this one what that would be till we get the final grant
When we first got the
agreement.
money, nobody even knew we had the brownfield. It was new, so people weren't even, and at the end of the run, we had more people standing than.
Everybody wanted it then, sure.
Well,
Yep.
it was just kind of, like I said, the sign of the times and those types of things too, so. There's no match on that. Any other discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Moving on to V.
Chairman, at this time, I would move to approve the library board bylaws revisions.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item W, the 2017 Marine Safety Program Grant Application.
Chairman Bohm, I would move to approve the 2017 Marine Safety Program Grant application in the amount of $324,107.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item,
Do we need roll call on that?
there's no match or anything on that.
And it's a grant
It's a
application.
straight up grant, so. W, 17,
X.
the Mental Health Court Grant Program, item X, I'm sorry.
Chairman Bowman, I'd move to approve the Michigan Mental Health Court Grant Program Letter of Agreement subcontract with Community Mental Health in the amount not to exceed $50,916.92 for a term of 10/1/16 through 9/30/17.
Support.
Discussion?
Who supported that?
Roll call?
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian,
Yes.
Commissioner Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Item Y, the 2017 Michigan Mental Health Court Grant Program subcontract with Blue Water DRP.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Michigan Mental Health Court Grant Program subcontract with Blue Water DRP LLC in an amount not to exceed $24,273 for a term of October 1, 2016 through September 30th, 2017.
Support.
Discussion? Roll call?
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatham,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann.
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Item Z, Resolution 1648 for the District Court Building. Code.
At this time, I'd like to move to adopt Resolution 16-46, authorizing a capital improvement fund for the 72nd District Court.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 11AA, the Resolution 1647.
Mr. Chair, I would move that we adopt Resolution 16-47, the revised animal control fee schedule.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 11AB, the Survey and Remonumentation Grant.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the 2017 Survey and Remonumentation Grant Agreement in the amount of $74,752.
Support.
Discussion on this.
All communities are fine. I mean, I know you've talked to everybody. I'm sure nobody's crazy about it, but
I'm sorry.
is everybody fine with the communities you've talked to about the
This is a
increase?
Survey and Remonumentation.
Oh, I'm at the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Roll call.
Commissioner Greatham,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing.
Yes.
Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Items 11AC, Administrative Agreement for Housing Rehab.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the administrative agreement with Blue Water Community Action for a term of December 9, 2016 through December 31st, 2019 for the Housing Rehab Grant Program.
Support.
Sorry? Mr. Dunn there. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? AD was pulled. AE.
Chairman Bohm, I would move to approve a rate increase for the Smiths Creek landfill in the amount of $6 per ton, effective January 1st of 2017.
Support.
If I'm not mistaken, it's July. Are we doing it July 1?
July 1 of 2017 is the proposed date.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's a typo. So, July 1 of 17. To answer your question, Duke, when we first talked about landfill rate increases, we had 3 different workshops, invited all the cities, townships, all the above out to the landfill. It's probably what, Howard, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah.
Bill,
But-
you were there.
Yep.
I think, Dave, you were there and stuff.
Plus, you did a presentation before the township supervisor.
Truthfully, they don't even want to hear from me anymore on landfills. When I show up, they say, don't talk about the landfill. I've heard you enough. But, so we did a real, obviously an effort to get out in front of this. And what had happened, 1999 was the last time we ever had raised any rates out at our landfill. And you, like anything, if you go for that length of time. And what we had looked at the time was to be able to backfill some volume from the Canadian market. As everybody here knows, we've got our bioreactor, which we accept municipal household waste, which works really well in our bioreactor, breaks down, creates methane, so on and so forth. So we're not bringing a bunch of construction and demo material in, okay? So we had always said if we could get a decent dollar out of the Canadian market, and Dave was there. Dave, originally, we ran projections on 3% increases where we should be at. And our projections, if you look from the 1999 rate where we're at, I think it was $19 to where it is today, it's somewhere in the $33 to $34 range based on 3% increase because our landfill operations, quite frank, costs that, if not even a little bit more. It's an expensive thing to run. So we were very clear with everybody. We had met with everyone. Would they not want the rates? I'm sure if you asked them, yeah, don't raise my rates. But we spent a lot of time on the front end. So it wasn't like when we did it, there was a bunch of big pushback and that. And when you look at the rate, like the $6 per ton, you say it's $25.50 and it's going up an additional $6 percentage-wise, that looks maybe like a big number, going, wow, you're raising my rates, 30%. Well, $6 a ton is 50 cents per household per month. Average person produces a ton of trash is what we track at. So when you quantify that, and they're gonna try to justify it, whatever it is, but that's what it costs Joe Q, homeowner, when you look at the rate increases. Some cities pay for it. Everybody has a different funding mechanism. Riley has a specific millage for it. City of Port Huron has a millage for all their solid waste. City of Marysville, you were down there before, Duke. You guys at one time charged residents, then you chose not to charge them, and then, whatever, and they may revisit. City of St. Clair, whatever the cost is, they pass it on to the residents. So everybody's got a different way that they pay their garbage bill, essentially. So we've been out front. I've talked to City of Marysville. I've talked to City of St. Clair. I've talked to, just recently. Actually, we brought in Randy and James and went through all those numbers. Carrie did a presentation. There was a couple of the commissioners. The biggest thing that we heard out of all the communities was, if you're going to do an increase, give us ample time to be able to budget, because they're always in that budgeting session. So give us that period of time. 6 months. So to say that they don't know that it's not coming, I've been to the township supervisors, told them about it. Is everybody happy about it? They know it's coming. It's not like I've been inundated with,
Just two things. The 50 cents, and we brought this up many times, per household, but many communities have contracted with the landfill. Like you take Marysville, they've actually saved, I believe, monies were $60,000 annually. That
actually
they're
more
actually
than
saving.
that. More than that.
So
yeah.
the actual households in Marysville are paying less now than they did prior. And we have other communities that are doing that also. Columbus Township is working with the landfill, and in addition, Riley's potentially going to work with it to have direct billing. So their actual landfill costs, because we charge by the actual tonnage that gets to the landfill, where your contractors will charge for hauling and for the tipping fees. And any kind of business has to put some type of formula in there to guarantee that they make money. So by direct billing.
Yeah, and the county actually started that initiative. I'm glad you actually brought that up, to go to direct billing to the different municipalities. And we handled all the bid. We have a consultant, Jim Logston, who really knows it. County went out and assisted the different communities to write the specs, to go out. And Cotcherville Township was the first one to actually take advantage of it. And they saw a 15% reduction in their billing. Now, granted, they're small, X amount of households. When Marysville got involved in it, they saw a substantial reduction in their rates, roughly 15%. So the thing I would always counter this is, if they're not even back at the rates that they were paying previous before we got involved to help them write the specs, to go to the direct billing, to do some of these other things. So this is another service that we provided to really essentially offset any increases. Not every city takes us up on it.
And I don't understand why, because I know in Marysville it's been very successful. There's no hiccups, there's no,
I got 5 communities
Yeah.
that will tell you the same exact thing, and I've
Nothing.
got other ones that I guess are a
it's
little smarter
been
than we
great,
are.
yeah.
Bill?
If I'm listening to you correct, let's assume that your community has a contract for the hauler to come and pick up your trash. If we raise the rates as we're talking about raising them, which will break down to 50 cents a household, should that household see a rate increase of about 50 cents? Because the hauler's already there picking it up.
Yeah, the cheap, so if you think about a ton of trash, right? So the landfill's portion for a ton of trash is $25.50. The expensive part's driving the truck to your house,
Right.
paying the guys to pick it up.
But that's
The
already
dis-
paid for right
That's
now.
already, yeah. The disposal component, what comes to the landfill, is pretty minimal when you get into it. Like I said, the real expenses in that other piece of it. And you know, when you start talking about these landfills, you know, cell construction to build a cell, which hence everybody knows that is where you dump the trash. It's a hole in the ground with a liner system. Well, those cells are $3 million a whack. So when you have to do your future capital, I mean, we've been very cognizant of trying to keep the rates down as low as we can. And it's one of those things, and Carl, you've always said it, you know, on water and sewer, those types of things, you don't touch those rates, and then all of a sudden, in the 10-year period, then you got to go do them, and then it's where you should have been because you have those expenses, and, you know, people.
And it hurts.
I think if you ask citizens, I know nobody wants to see any price go up, but if you ask citizens, would they rather have the price go up a small amount each year, or every 5 to 10 years they get hit with a massive new amount? They would pick the former. And the other thing is, yes, people don't want to see the costs go up, but I tell every citizen, would you like us to sell our landfill to one of the major international companies that run landfills like in the Detroit area? Do you want Waste Management setting the fees for your trash? Usually they say no. They would rather have local control over those fees.
So,
Thank you, that
I
answers
mean,
my
to
question.
belabor the thing, that's just a little back history. Howard?
The other issue that we've had, and Jeff, you and I have gone through this 3 or 4 times, and that's that we've had a few haulers that didn't abide by their contract, and they didn't pay their fee out at the landfill. I think we wrote off $500,000 one
Yeah,
year.
we've been hit for 300, I think 160 or 180, then probably another, you know,
And
more than
so-
that, 3 different
and-
times.
And
that
what
just
happens is they
companies
change the
went bankrupt
sticker.
and-
The hauler changes the sticker on their truck, and they're
Yeah.
out driving the next day. They go through bankruptcy, and we get left holding the bag. That's another reason why I'm really excited to see communities such as Marysville looking at direct billing, and then with the realization that they save money in the process, makes it something that I don't think any community in St. Clair County can ignore.
No.
Okay, enough of that. Did we do anything? Roll call.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Resolution 1645, pledge of the full faith and credit for the Meldon Drain bonds.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt Resolution 1645, pledging the full faith and credit for the Meldrum Drainage District bonds, and this again is to drain the swamp in Commissioner Rush's district.
I would second that. I understand they put a lot of gators in them out there.
We'll come to
All-
a neighborhood
all
near
in-
you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item 11, AG, the 2017 pension and retiree health care contribution rates.
At this time, I'd like to move to approve the pension contribution in the amount of $3,822,897, with any budgeted dollars remaining contributed to the Retiree Health Care Trust Fund.
Support.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Moving on, AH.
Chairman Bone, I move to approve the Blue Cross Blue Shield 2017 Schedule A renewal and stop loss exhibits as presented.
Second?
Discussion? Bill?
I just wanted to point out that if I'm reading this correctly, a 1.7% increase, which is really good. I mean, I know we're self-funded, but still, in today's rising rates, people are looking at 10, 12, 15, and 20%, and upward sometimes for us to get 1.7%.
It's phenomenal.
Means that,
Unheard of.
well, tells me that our county employees are in good health, maybe. They're not going to the doctor, and they're not spending the money, so.
Yeah, just for the public, so people understand that when they hear that, we're actually self-insured here at St. Clair County. So anybody else that, you know, if you purchase insurance, I know it's been a lot of Greg, you're the insurance guy, it's been double-digit increases, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of Blue Cross Shield's been 15 plus. And let's face it, I think we were pretty surprised when it came back. Correct me if I'm wrong. We were anticipating to be one of those 10 percenters, but our claim ratio was very good, and so it was a good year for us in that realm.
Just a comment. You know, we continue to emphasize preventative health and during health prevention, and I think that's a big item there too. Get that flu shot.
Roll call.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian,
Yes.
Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Items AI, boards and commission reappointments.
Mr. Chair, I move the approval of all boards and commission reappointments as recommended.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Item AJ, the Health Department manning table change.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the request to add an informatics position to the Health Department manning table.
Support.
Discussion. Dr. Mercantile was in last week to explain this. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Items 11AK, the library manning table change.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I move to approve the request to add a digital services librarian position to the library's manning table.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item AL, Resolution 1629, per diems for boards and commissions.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to adopt Resolution 16-29 relative to per diems for boards and commissioners, or commissions, I'm sorry.
Support.
Second.
Discussion.
Howard Chair. I think there's, apparently when that went out, there was some confusion there because I received a call, and basically the gist of the call was, Commissioner, you get a salary for your job with the county. I said, that's correct. And then she said, in addition to the salary, you get a per diem for going to the meetings? And I said, no. County commissioners do not get a per diem. But commissioners that serve on our many volunteer boards, like Park and Rec, Municipal Planning, each one of those commissioners receive a per diem of $30. But county commissioners that serve on those bodies do not. And it's a little bit confusing. I hope the public, if they have any questions, you know, don't hesitate to
That's
ask.
been in place the whole time I've been on the board. That hasn't changed in the 12 years.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
It hasn't,
So-
but when they see commissioners get a per diem, they assume they're talking about county commissioners, and they're not. They're talking about Park and Rec, municipality, road commissioners, and that sort of thing.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Items AM, Resolution 1630, waiving the interest earned on taxes collected by the local governments.
This time, I'd like to move to adopt Resolution 16-30, waiving investment interest earned on taxes collected by local units for 2016.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item AN, establishing salaries of elected and non-elected officers for 2017.
I move that we approve Resolution 1631, establishing the salaries of specific elected and non-elected officers for the 2017 year.
Second.
Discussion? Duke. Roll call?
Commissioner Dunn,
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing,
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop,
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell,
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian,
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann,
Yes.
Chairperson Bone.
Yes. Items AO, the resolution 1632 approving wage adjustments for the canoe.
Chairman Bohm, I would move to adopt Resolution 16-32, approving annual wage adjustments for the County Association of Non-Union Employees, canoe, as presented.
Support.
Discussion. same 2% for the canoe employees as it was for all the other ones in the C through T that we adopted, so. Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatham?
Yes?
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Items 11AP, the resolution 1636, adopting the 80/20 cost-sharing model.
I would like to move, Mr. Chair, to adopt Resolution 16-36, adopting the 80/20 cost-sharing model as set forth in Public Act 152 of 2011.
Support.
Discussion. I know, how long has it been, Carrie, that our employees have been paying 20%? It's probably
2011.
2011 when we instituted that, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Items AQ, establishing compensation for the Board of Commissioners for 2017, 2018.
Commissioner Bohm, move to adopt Resolution 1637, establishing compensation for the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners in the amount of $100,000 per I'm sorry.
Yeah.
As presented.
Can we throw ourselves a big raise quick? Any discussion? Roll call.
Who'd I get on my
Who supported that?
I will. Support.
Commissioner Greatham?
I think yes.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. AR Resolution 1638, establishing compensation for the St. Clair County Road Commission.
At this time, I'd like to move to adopt Resolution 16-38, establishing compensation to be paid to the members of the St. Clair County Road Commission as presented.
Support.
Discussion? Bill?
I think I may have asked this question before, and I'm going to ask it again. Why is it that they are allowed to get mileage from home to where they work? I mean, is that not their place of employment? Didn't we go through this with the IRS, that you cannot get mileage when you drive to your place of employment?
You can receive an allowance, which is different than a mileage reimbursement. A mileage reimbursement is where you track actual miles. This is a flat allowance amount they receive, which is taxed as taxable income on their W-2, whereas a straight mileage reimbursement would be a tax-free reimbursement to the employee.
Okay, thank you. Understood.
Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatham?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Item AT, the resolution 1644 for the retiree 13th check.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would move to adopt Resolution 1644 regarding retiree 13th check.
Support.
Yeah, you missed AS.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I did. Let's undo that. Let's go to AS, Resolution 1639 for establishing compensation for the Department of Health and Human Services Board.
I just didn't think you trusted me anymore.
Yeah.
I would make a motion to adopt Resolution 1639, establishing compensation to be paid to the members of the Department of Health and Human Services Board as presented.
Support.
Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatham?
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. AT, Resolution 1644, retiree 13th check.
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt Resolution 1644 regarding retirees 13th check.
Support.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item AU, the Stewart, Beauvais, and Whipple for the audit services agreement.
This time, I'd like to move to approve the audit services agreement with Stewart, Beauvais, and Whipple PC for the 2016, 2017, and 2018 audits in the amount of $229,904.
Support.
Discussion.
You can't see it right
They
don't
have
say it.
been doing ours for, how long? Carrie, I've been here 12 years. You've been here long as you've been
For
around?
the 17 years I've been here, they've been doing our audit.
So they've been doing it quite a time and they've done a good job for us, so. Roll call.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes?
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Items AV, the 2017 Board of Commissioners meeting schedule.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the 2017 Board of Commissioners meeting schedule.
Support.
Discussion.
I will not make the first week of June meeting.
Okay, and everything's always, as you well know, subject to change depending on what we have as far as different events. When Chris sent it to me, I said, we're gonna adopt it, then if we gotta look at the hunting season stuff to this season, that season, we can.
Just like tonight's meeting was a change in the
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah, so.
That's a normal, isn't it? Don't we always, isn't December's usually back to back?
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Item AW, Resolution 1666 for the Blue Water Convention Center liquor license.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to adopt Resolution 1666, authority to execute and accept documents regarding the liquor license held by the St. Clair County Board of Commissioners for the Blue Water Convention Center.
I'll double that.
Okay, Carrie, is this an annual thing?
No, this is a change to the resolution because of former Administrator Kaufman's retirement.
Oh, okay, very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed. Items 11AX, 1635, adopting the 2017 special revenue funds, amending the 2016 general and special revenue fund budgets.
I so move.
Support. Discussion. Roll call.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Items 11AY.
Chairman Bohm, I move to approve the fire paging system upgrade to the 800 megahertz.
I would support that.
Discussion.
We did receive, right?
Yeah, we
hard
got all
copies
that
of
information. I
items.
think that Lapeer County piece of it, it hadn't been discussed till previous this evening. I'm glad that you did bring that up because, I was around when we did the merger with them as far as a backup system, because, the city of Port Huron was always a backup, Clay Township was always, a quasi-backup supposedly, and nobody even ever, city of Port Huron, they never dusted off the council. So to put in that kind of money into that versus being able to work with another county that has all that infrastructure in place, that's very cool.
The other piece that was always a question was the towers, the sirens that are used for tornado warnings, things of that nature. They didn't work on the same system, but I was pleased to see in the paperwork in here that the company is working on that, and they're going to come to a resolution where they'll be able to take those towers and be able to work them off of the new 800 system as opposed to the old digital system, not digital, analog system that they have out there.
System's 30-plus years old, too. Yeah, so, I know it's end of life, that's obviously why we're doing it, so. Roll call.
Commissioner Rushing?
Yes.
Commissioner Greatop?
Yes.
Commissioner McConnell?
Yes.
Commissioner Tamian?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidemann?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Chairperson Bone?
Yes. Item 12, the administrator's report.
Just a couple brief items tonight. If you'll remember, a couple months back, I came to you with a resolution to refund one of our existing bond issues to save some money on interest savings. Since that time, there has been some significant changes in the municipal bond market that has brought interest rates up. So at this time, we are choosing not to move forward with that refunding. We will continue to monitor the interest rates for the next several months to see if we can still move forward and achieve some significant savings. Our initial estimated savings was $70,000, and when we were supposed to get our final bond pricing on December 6th, those numbers came down to about $12,000.
Carrie, what's happened that changed
The underwriter thinks it's the results of the presidential election. Since then, there has been some upward movement in interest rates, particularly in the municipal bond market. So we'll continue to monitor it. Since you are only allowed to do one advanced refunding of your bond issue, we want to make sure that if and when we do it, that we're achieving great enough savings to make it worth it to the county.
Good part is all of our bonds that we have, I think, on some of our major capital stuff, like the jail, for example, that we refinance that at the bottom of the bottom.
Yeah, we saved about $1.2 million in interest when we
This
redid that
building, when
one.
we rebonded this one, we caught this, at the bottom. So all of our, the heavy capital, I guess, outlay that we service, debt services.
Carrie, how much of a difference do you have to make it worth rebonding?
Everybody looks at it a little differently. Kind of an industry average that your municipal advisor would tell you is you want to achieve at least 5% savings over the life of the remaining life of your bond issue.
Because it costs a lot of money to redo the reissuance on those things, so,
A lot of fixed costs.
yeah, big time.
As part of that refunding process, though, we did actually go through the whole process, and we did participate with a bond rating call with Standard & Poor's last month. And I am very happy to announce that they granted us an upgrade in our bond rating. We have, they've upgraded us from a AA- to a AA. Citing improvements in our economy, our unemployment rates, our per capita income, our new development, and growth in all the areas.
Good
Very
news.
cool.
Very good news.
I was just at the Macomb County, State of the County last night. Macomb County's very healthy financially. They're AA+. So for a county of our size, tax base to be a AA, that's extremely solid.
It's you don't receive an upgrade for 1 year of good performance. It's multiple years, a consistent trend of good budget performance, financial practices. You have to have solid financial policies. They review everything in great detail, all of our budgets, policies, procedures. So
Which, when
that
you
all
talk-
plays into it.
When you talk about bond rating too, as you look at, like, we pledge our full faith and credit for the drain cleanout project, which essentially, when Bob Wiley does a drain project and there's a portion that gets, assessed back to the homeowners, essentially that they're using the full faith of the county's credit with a higher bond rating, which you're able to receive a better interest rate. Versus if you're a small individual municipality or township tries to go out and do that, you're going to pay, a much higher rate.
What is the highest bond rating?
A AAA.
AAA.
2 more to go. And that's it for this evening.
Okay. Item 14, receive and file.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
15, adjournment.
Mr. Chairman, can I just say real quick that I think that in moving that bond rating up the way we did there, I think big thanks goes to our entire financial department for what they have done. They keep an eye on everything, and every time we turn around and want to do something, they tell us we can't do it that way because it'll hurt our bond rating. It gets in the way of doing business, but at least the bond rating's up, and we're in better shape for it. So I think we need to thank them for that. Great job, Carrie, you and your team.
Thank you.
Okay.
Move
Item,
to adjourn.
Support.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed were adjourned.